Will you follow me tonight to break their spine and reclaim what once was mine? Those cravens backstab me, deceive me, never shall tolerate their crimes again. Now let the hunt begin. Yeah! 7,000 souls scared and daunted, such a tale of woe. Not too long ago, this village was a golden scene of hope. Go down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Yeah, bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Yeah, I am the light bringer. Now listen, fellow warriors, I ask you, should my campaign come to an end? There's way more to avenge. Wow. 15 million souls living in this realm without much hope. Not too long ago, this kingdom was a golden state of hope. Yeah! Go down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Yeah, bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Call down the reckoning, bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer.
Hey, everybody, for tuning in just now with YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
YouTube apparently doesn't automatically go live, so we know that now.
Yeah,
but
I don't like that.
I don't either. That's bad.
You're listening to The Doghouse with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
What's up, YouTube people? Sorry that we slipped up a little bit. YouTube is a strange and nefarious entity. We'll be more careful from now on, I guess.
That's right.
We must tread carefully from henceforth. Anyways, you missed the top of the hour, but briefly going over it, there's a Castlevania collection coming to what platforms?
Switch, PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically everything. It's all $20.
Everything but the Oya.
Yeah, you got
Mhm.
a bunch of Castlevania games and Kid Dracula, which I don't think has been released in the US.
I don't think it's ever been
I don't
released.
think so.
I'm
either.
really excited.
It'll
to play
be
that
interesting
one.
to see the English localization.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That's true.
Ultimate Alliance, new characters, a whole bunch of new characters.
There was a
Which-
list of them.
Which were the highlights for you? I know Miles Morales.
Miles Morales,
Uh,
Spider-Gwen, Nightcrawler, which I didn't think they'd put him in since
Yeah.
I've Deadpool,
Juggernaut.
So Juggernaut's not in it.
Juggernaut's not in. Okay,
Uh,
not Juggernaut. It's a bad game.
But
Don't play it.
another thing that I just found recently that really should have been in top of the hour is Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remaster. It came out on
yeah.
Switch.
Yep, that's
And I
out.
totally forgot about that, even though it's one of my favorite Final Fantasies.
Should I play that?
It is an
I
amazing
should probably play
game.
that.
I'm gonna wait for
It's
Persona 5
so
to come on
good.
Switch.
I have it on PC already because it's been out on PC for like 3 years
I
now.
still have to beat
but-
Octopath.
Is that the one with the laughter? Like
Yes.
the laughing
Ha
game?
ha ha
I might
ha.
have to play this game.
But
Hey, but here's the thing.
Interesting story
in
about that.
context, it's actually a good
that's what I've
thing.
been, that's what I've been told. That in context,
Yeah,
makes a lot
context,
more
it's
sense.
actually
funny just
really
as a meme,
touching.
but like, yeah.
It's super duper touching because you just learned something huge about the plot right before that. And so the reason they're doing that is because
You gotta-
they're trying to relieve stress.
You gotta
off
force
of
yourself to
themselves.
laugh.
Yeah, you have to force yourself to have a good time sometimes.
Do it.
So it's really
Ah.
good. It's a good game.
I
It's a
do
good game.
in
It's
the
not my
show.
favorite Final Fantasy. But it's a good game.
I always have a good time on this show. I have a fun time on most radio.
All right.
shows.
What's the next?
All right.
Okay.
And the
stop.
next top of the hour was Capcom Home Arcade. It comes with 16 games. It's also going to cost like $260. So,
Oof.
and the MK11 Switch trailer is floating around. So watch that if you get the chance. We had some good top of the hour,
Yeah, it's
but
good stuff.
for the body of the show, we got some cool stuff. I think the first thing we agreed that we were going to talk about was the PlayStation 5.
Yes.
Let me just first say that this is not coming out this year.
Mhm. Also, I
So-
think it was really just a few details about it. It wasn't like a full unveiling of what it looks like.
No,
Is
they
that
did
right?
not. They did not unveil what it looks like. I think it was Wired who went to Sony headquarters,
Mhm. I believe that's right.
and
yeah.
then they were told about what to expect from it, and so they were the
Yeah.
ones. It's not a leak. This is an official interview.
Didn't
that
they say
they-
something? And this is probably gonna be something that is in the interview, but I think they originally said something about like 8K or something, like the system being able to make 8K graphics or something like that. I can't remember.
It
if
does
that's
support
exactly true.
8K.
Okay, that's
I
right.
don't even know what that means.
Okay, so it's 4K, double it.
There's HD, 4K, and then 8K.
Graphics are so good.
There's so many Ks.
You can step in it.
You can smell them. It's 4D.
It's gonna have
games
really-
are 4D, baby.
It's gonna have a really good graphical
Smell-o-vision.
capability.
What does a Heartless smell like? Oh gosh.
That's old mayonnaise.
Okay, so this is some tech jargon. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. The CPU based on AMD Ryzen, custom GPU based on AMD Radeon Navi, ray tracing support. So ray tracing support. What that does, it basically what it does is like it detects how light bounces off things in
Yeah.
the game. So it'll be able to detect how light bounces off surfaces and just it'll be more natural lighting. So that's a more graphic thing. I think that we're gonna really see that in the new Elder Scrolls because they've already said how they're
Oh, yeah.
taking scans of actual environments and putting it into the game like
That's
rocks.
crazy.
They still haven't said
It looks
where that's
good.
going to be, have they?
I think people are saying Morrowind. I think I'm hoping.
Back to Morrowind?
I really hope it's elsewhere.
I kind of want to go to Valenwood, but I mean, I'm good. I just want to play Elder Scrolls.
I just want,
Really.
maybe it's every single.
Y'all know I've
Nice.
never played an
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls
That'd be
game.
cool.
It's maybe my first
You
one.
should actually pick up Skyrim if you get the chance.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
It's,
Yeah.
Should I
it's-
get on Switch or
It's a
something?
pretty decent
or-
game.
Yeah, get it on Switch. Why not?
Do it.
Okay.
Tell me
I
if
think
it's
you
good.
can
I'm gonna
mod.
try
You
it.
can mod the one on the Switch, right?
No, I don't think so.
Get it on PS4. No.
I-
Do you have an Xbox?
No.
Do you have a computer?
Yeah.
Get it on PC.
Get it on PC.
Does it require that much to run?
I have
No,
no
Okay.
idea.
my computer is falling apart, and I can still play it.
Okay, yeah, then
smooth.
I'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
It supports PSVR and physical media. So
That's cool. Maybe
That's kinda neat.
I'm kind of excited to see what new VR games we get moving forward.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most exciting thing is that it's backwards compatible with PS4 games.
Really?
So it does have a disk drive.
Yes, it has.
Wow.
Yeah, physical media.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm impressed
Who'da-
that it actually still has a disk drive.
Who'd have thought?
I literally just said that in the last point. I said it supports BSVR and physical media.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's what physical media means.
That's fair. Okay, yeah. I guess it didn't hit me until you said PS4, and I went, "Oh wow, really?"
I don't listen to what you say. I mean, I think we just
That is-
that.
That's
That
pretty
hurts my
crazy, though.
feelings.
I mean, I have to listen to what you say. It's part of my job.
I kind of wish Switch could play Wii U games.
Yeah, I know. I kind of do too.
Yeah, I could play Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. That'd be nice.
I could play
Cool.
Nintendo Land.
Wish I didn't
I
have to
thought
play
that was a good
Generations.
game.
Generations
I
were
wouldn't
okay.
have to buy Captain Toad again. I could just rent like the.
Or I could loan you
Wii U
Monster
one.
Hunter 3.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I could loan you both it and be like, hey, this is what Monster Hunter used to be like. Back in the olden days when I was your dad.
Oh, you know what?
I
I bet they didn't, so that they could resell Mario Kart 8 again for the Switch.
Oh, that's why they did it.
That's the reason.
Nintendo, you clever dog. And also
I
they
knew
have
it.
it would be hard to put a disc drive in there with the
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, I mean,
it'd be cool, but I don't think it would happen.
no, and it would probably like break your discs,
It would probably
Yeah.
add like 100
like a big.
another like
it'd
$100.
become like really
Yeah.
like bulky.
It'd be-
unless they put it on the
Yeah.
dock and you could only do it with the dock.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
like
think that'd be
like
fine.
like a tray.
What if they added like a
CD
different made a
drive.
different version where like they had an upgraded dock where it could run Wii U games? Wouldn't that
If
be
they did,
crazy?
people would be very upset because I know some people who've already sold their Wii U's, such as all three of us here. I'm pretty sure.
I have not sold my Wii U.
Oh, I
I
thought
know.
you had.
I never bought a Wii U because
Oh.
I looked at it and I said, "No, thank you, Mr. Sakurai,
I want to play Smash 4
Mr.
and
Miyamoto, Mr. Reggie. You can keep that."
Yeah, I
It was
haven't
worth
played
it for
the Wii
Monster
U
Hunter.
If they
in
had
a
like
long
a
time.
if they had like a good Star Fox game, I probably would have bought it.
Dude, I loved Nintendo Land was the best game on Wii U. Don't
So-
at me. It was great.
My Mark Cherney, that's the one that they were interviewing. I forgot if I think he's like a CEO of he's
Yeah.
high up in
He's a bigwig.
PlayStation,
Yeah.
in PlayStation, Sony or whatever. They've been working on this console for 4 years, and he said that it's not just a PS4 upgrade. All right.
Hmm.
Let's see.
That's a big thing to
The
say.
key Trini says the key question is whether the console adds another layer to the sorts of experiences you already have access to, or if it allows for fundamental changes in what a game can be. The answer in this case is the latter. That's all and they were in the conference room at Sony's headquarters in Foster City, California. It's not named yet. It's probably gonna be PlayStation 5, but that'd be interesting if they broke that number
What
trope.
if they don't call it PlayStation, I'll be very sad.
The
The
PlayStation.
PlayStation Decuhexagon.
The
Five.
PlayStation Requiem.
That actually sounds sick. Okay,
Does it?
don't say that ever again. I liked that.
The
That sounds
PlayStation
cool.
Banjo. 'Cause,
Kazooie.
I like Banjo Kazooie. I'd
you
play
get
that.
the Banjo, or you
But
get the
Microsoft
Kazooie
owns
version.
them. It has to be
Oh.
Xbox Banjo.
Oh my gosh, the console is like all brown and bear like, but the VR headset looks like
The
Kazooie.
Kazooie.
You got like a
Oh, that'd
bird
be
face.
funny.
Bird up.
They've also already sent out their dev kits to people who are working for people who are making games for it.
Wow.
So the dev kits are already out there. As I said, it's not going to be releasing anytime 2019, so you don't have to
Don't get worried about it. Or
worry
save
about
up
your
money.
you don't have to worry about your PS4 losing value anytime soon. Probably
Mhm.
want to start saving just to put it a little bit
Yeah.
back if you want it.
Because it'll probably be pretty expensive.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably
5.
maybe. Hopefully not. I'm hoping 400, but
It's weird, like it almost I don't want to say this is like another console war or anything, but like the Switch is like blown it out of the park. And I feel like the other two developers are like doing their best to play catch up at this point, with the new
Yeah.
Xbox and PlayStation.
Maybe.
They're definitely gonna have like a quite a wall to climb up.
They probably just didn't think the Switch was
wonder how
going to
it's-
be so well.
I didn't think
so
the
well
Switch would do that
received.
well.
I just wonder how it's gonna compare to like gaming PCs and stuff. So
That's a good
Yeah,
question.
that's true.
I'd be willing to pay a pretty penny if it were actually like if I could like play that and be like, yeah, this works on the level of like an okay gaming PC.
Mhm.
Because like there are some gaming PCs that are ridiculous, but they're also
Oh, yeah.
ridiculously priced and hard to put together.
Mhm.
Like the parts that you need
Yeah.
to get like a certain graphic fidelity is ridiculous. But yeah. So the AMD Ryzen thing, I think that's like the core part of it.
Yeah.
That's what you have in your computer. Like you heard of dual core computers. This has 8 cores.
Well,
Wow. So you're saying it
I
has
hope it
enough?
sounds like a jet engine again.
I was
If
gonna say, I mean, computers. I think you can put like 16 now.
Probably.
I've heard.
So-
I'd say the
I know
16
that,
or-
like-
it is 8.
I know that like my PS4.
Maybe it's a
Everybody
12
complained
core.
about the PS4 how it sounded like
Like
a
a
jet
jet,
engine starting
yeah.
up. But I love that. It was
Yeah.
like wee.
So,
I was
I think
like,
that's fun.
I was like,
If
sounds like I
I
have a nuclear reactor under my TV.
if I put this thing under the hood of my car and travel 88 miles per hour, can I travel through time? That's the real question.
Ooh, true question.
He brings up a good point.
Time travel,
But
yay
yeah,
or nay?
so
That sounds
that's
cool.
interesting. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see how the new Elder Scrolls is going to look. Really excited to be able to pick up all my PS4 games and put them on that because I really don't want to buy them again.
This is like
that'd
completely
be
out
good.
of this is completely like out of left field, but like it'd be really cool if they made like a new Monster Hunter game and put it on this console and had like special editions of the console that like had different like Monster Hunter hide designs on them. So like a Rathalos console.
That'd be
like, that would
awesome.
That would be really cool.
I know they had like a Monster Hunter PS4 thing, but
Yeah, I
it was
think
like
so.
it had
Did
like
they?
it wasn't like what you're describing, but it had like
Mhm.
it had like a Rathalos decal
Yeah, it was
on
cool.
it.
Ooh.
It was like
It was still pretty neat.
yeah,
That's
it was
cool.
nice.
I saw that.
It was
There's
slick.
also a
I guess
Kingdom
it-
Hearts 3 one is pretty good.
I guess I just gotta hunt down a Rathalos in real life and put its skin on my PlayStation 4. And then that'll be just as good.
How are you going to open the console?
you gotta get a gym if you want to do that.
Oh, I guess I can't. Then it's over.
You got a
It's
4%
over.
drop rate when you cut off its tail. Good luck.
Fantastic.
Oh no.
But yeah, so I'm excited for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I remember I had an Xbox 360, and then like I heard that they were gonna charge like $500 for the Xbox One. And I'm like, I can't do that.
Mm-mm.
And PS4 was like, hey, $400, and we got backwards compatibility, which they never did that.
They didn't do that.
But I got the PS5. Never looked back. Thought it was pretty cool. PlayStation has done some pretty weird stuff. I might switch back over to the next Xbox
Mm.
because I like being able to change my name around and stuff.
You can change your name now.
Now, I still can't change it back to the name I want. I had like an account that held my name, so nobody
Uh-huh.
else would take it, and I can't get it. So I think it still
Oh.
exists in some way when you change your name.
That gum. Big
Um,
mistake. I'm sorry. That sucks.
It happens. I don't know. I'm also don't like it how like when Skyrim came out, they kind of like held their they held their ground and didn't let mods like there's just something with mods where you couldn't change the faces and like make new textures and stuff. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to see which way it goes, and I'll make my decision when the next gen games come out.
Yeah,
Nice.
So
that's a fair thing.
because I do not have console loyalty because that's dumb.
I do for Nintendo. I won't lie. I think
If
I
the
do.
Switch was crap, I wasn't gonna buy it.
yeah.
well, I mean, but I
Like-
also bought the Wii U.
I bought the Wii U for Smash,
I mean that.
And
but
Monster
that's the
Hunter.
thing. If
but I was
Yeah.
also in high school, so
yeah,
That's the thing.
I'm not a
I just-
moron anymore.
I'm probably gonna stick with Nintendo. I am
Right.
that guy. But whenever it comes to Xbox or PlayStation, I'll flip flop.
Right.
The thing is, like, even the weird consoles like the GameCube and the Wii U, they weren't actually like
They weren't.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They were just strange.
Oh,
and
Wii U.
unusual.
Wii U's bad.
I don't think the
Compared
Wii
to
U was-
other.
It had good
consoles.
games.
Yeah, I
Monster
know.
Hunter 3U and Smash were pretty good.
Nintendo Land.
I'm sure there was
good.
another good game, probably.
Nintendo
Captain
Land.
Toad.
I'm sure there was
Animal
another good
Crossing.
game, probably.
Hey,
This-
Wind Waker
I never
HD
played
was
Captain
good.
Toad.
Yeah.
Wind Waker HD.
I like Twilight Princess
Twilight
too.
Princess.
Yeah,
Yes.
HD. Yeah.
Yeah, it had good games, but like, I don't
Trying to
know.
think.
3, maybe it's just.
Hmm.
I think for you guys, like Captain Toad and stuff, like those games were like really good for you. But like, I think the equivalent of that was like Monster Hunter for me. So
Eli be like, "Oh, but that's not my quality of game."
No, I just have different tastes.
I know. That's
Yeah.
it.
I think those are great games. I'm just
it's not your thing exactly.
Yeah.
Like my thing's not Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so like that's
Like,
cool.
I made the joke a few weeks ago about this, but after actually playing the game, Captain Toad really is the Metal Gear Solid sequel that we never got.
Now I want to play it.
It's
I've never played.
fantastic.
I've never
I
played.
kind of wanted to play
Ghost Rider.
Captain Toad too. I was watching you guys play it on the Switch, and I was like, "Wow, that looks kind of
I
neat."
kind of want to play it. Do you own it on a physical cartridge?
Fish does.
Sleepy Bassett has it.
Dude, I may have to
Sleepy
borrow that from
Bassett.
you, dude.
Sleepy Bassett Hound.
Sleepy Basset
Okay,
Coon,
sorry.
But
Okay.
who is not
Yeah.
in this room, definitely not.
Donkey
No,
Kong.
he's not.
Donkey Kong on the Wii U.
Oh
is
yeah,
really
Tropical
good.
Freeze.
Yeah.
Tropical Freeze.
That's what people say is the best one.
It might
never
be one of
played
the
it.
best platforms.
But it's
like,
on
of
the
all
Switch now,
time.
so there's no point in getting a Wii U for it.
The
I never-
only thing that could have made that game better is if it had King K. Rool in it.
Yes,
That would be.
that would have been the one thing.
I wonder if I should just wait until PS5 Pro comes out.
I mean, honestly, you're not wrong. I would, if you think
Right.
about it, because that way you also have a bigger library of games to get at that point.
Because you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, I would wait, like, because it'll be 2 years or something.
A lot of people
That's
are
not
like
that bad.
talking about how there will be like new versions of the Switch and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, guys.
No.
Like,
Well, apparently,
the
what
Switch
people are
seems
saying is there's
pretty-
going to be a Switch Lite and
Nintendo
a
doesn't
Switch
do that.
Pro. But
Nintendo
I don't
doesn't
think
do
there will
that.
be.
I think they're confused about like
What company they're talking
whether
about.
it's
Yeah.
handheld or like
We should probably.
yeah, we
Go to the
Sorry.
next topic. No,
It'll
you're
be
right.
inter-
We can
yeah,
go to the
but
next
I
topic.
think it'll be interesting. I don't know if Nintendo is going to do that. It could be. It could work out for them. I'd be interested to see if them make a disc drive for it so we can play old Wii U games. So
Hmm.
I actually think that's a really cool idea.
yeah.
It puts some value in those Wii U games. Still.
But yeah. Next thing that we have a topic, I think we're gonna get into the new Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order trailer that dropped.
I
which
didn't
is
watch
pretty
it.
good.
Tell me about it. Is it good?
So yeah, it was pretty okay.
I was pretty good.
It was a trailer.
I liked it. I don't know. I mean, it's trying not to show
it's
too
so hard to
much.
tell. It's a cinematic trailer.
Yeah.
Like I guess the cinematic was okay. Like,
Yeah, I thought the cinematics were fine.
I don't. For the I guess for the theme of the game that they're trying to go, which is like you're apparently a Jedi in the middle of the Empire when the Empire's risen, and you're just trying to stay low,
Right.
like hang low. But like you're,
It's
I guess
literally
you're.
right after Order 66, basically.
Oh, I think it's like after the Empire's been around for like
Maybe a year.
a bit, like because they
Yeah.
have like Imperial uniforms, stormtroopers are a thing. So I think it's it's interesting because you're trying to survive in the guts of the Empire while you're a Jedi, and I think it leads about you just trying to escape and survive. So that'll be interesting.
It'll probably be bad, but I look on with cautious interest. I want it to be good, but this
Yeah.
feels like Star Wars damage control.
They were like, EA was
Well,
like,
if
they
we're
have no
honest-
microtransactions in this game, and I'm like, just stop trying to sell that to me. That's what you
Yeah.
should have been
That's
doing.
that's
Since the beginning.
That's not an accolade. That's the par. That's,
yeah.
like, that's the par.
I think, okay, so I'm going to say two things. One, I 100% agree with what you just said, because honestly,
Yeah.
a lot of people are upset with how the Star Wars film franchise is going. And so they kind of need to do
Yeah.
something to make those fans okay, at least. And then also,
Remember Star Wars
if
was
it's
good?
as good as The Force Unleashed, I will be happy.
I
But
actually
I loved The Force Unleashed.
The
Force
so it's a
Unleashed-
big bar for me.
The Force Unleashed is
But
really good.
And
Even
if it's
like,
any less than that, then it shouldn't have been made.
I'd agree with that.
Everybody, sorry, go ahead.
I do kind of like the idea of like almost a Jedi game with stealth elements, like maybe the Assassin's Creed games, like the good ones. You know, having to use your Jedi mind tricks to get out of problems, and maybe like
Yeah.
instead
I
of
think
like
that would be cool.
instead of like using your lightsaber is like very dangerous because that draws so much attention. So you
So
gotta
you're
be,
saying like,
you gotta like quietly use the Force to like manipulate things. That sounds like an interesting game.
so kind of like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War.
I actually like those games. I think
I love those games.
Shadow of Mordor is like unfinished.
I played Shadow
Yeah.
of Mordor for a little bit, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on in the story, and I actually don't care. So I
Oh,
just
it was
stopped.
like-
Yeah,
I just stopped
I love
playing.
that game.
I was like, it feels like they're trying to do Assassin's Creed and Arkham in the same game, and I don't
And
like
it
that.
worked.
It
Oh,
make it,
man.
it messes with my head, and I was like, I
Did you mess with Shadow of War at all?
no.
Okay, it's kind of like the finished version almost of Shadow of Mordor.
I don't like
It's really good.
I don't like what they did with the Lord of the Rings canon at all.
I think
So-
I thought
I
it
think
was
the
cool.
ads for the games were
which if you
hilarious.
like that, that's fine. But like,
Yeah,
I just
I feel you, dude.
I
You're
just
good.
I was like I like action games, but I don't like some things. I just don't feel like I feel like they went too much actiony and like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It felt so far removed from Lord of the Rings. I would often forget that I was like in Middle Earth most of the time. Like someone
Yeah,
saying
that's
Mordor, and I'm like, oh
true.
yeah, that's happening.
See, I'd remember just for the fact of like, I'm not as huge into Lord of the Rings as a lot of people are.
Mm.
And so for me, it was almost like my own story that I was learning about that other people didn't know.
That's a
That's
good.
kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah,
That's fine.
And so whenever people would ask, like, wait, what do you mean you've played a Lord of the Rings game? I'd be like, yeah, it happens here, and here's what happens in the game, and this is actually one of the. And so actually, I almost went to a spoiler. Whoops. Anyways, so like I can talk with them about it, and that way I know some stuff about the lore that I didn't know originally. So in a way, like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War actually taught me more about Lord of the Rings than I learned from the movies. So
Should
Wow.
read the Silmarillion.
no, you shouldn't. It's too.
I've heard
it's-
that's really long.
It's
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually
That's why
kinda
I'm not
ridiculous.
gonna. It's why I'm not gonna.
It's
But
like-
anyway,
It's too long.
It's cool.
but yeah, as far as Fallen Academy goes, I think that would be a cool idea. Kind of making it a Assassin's Creed / Shadow of War.
Don't ever say that to me. I don't want no more Assassin's Creed copies. I want something unique. I want them to do something.
I think it's a
actually-
cool idea.
Kind of
Uh,
like
I like it.
I kind of see it as like kind of how Obi-Wan Kenobi operates in Star Wars Episode 4. Like
Yeah,
when he's getting
Yeah.
through Mos Eisley, like quietly using the Force to like get past
He's just
checkpoints
doing
and
that.
stuff.
Bum, bum, bum,
Yeah.
bum, bum, bum,
I mean, I
bum,
still
bum.
want there to be like actual fighting in the game too.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
but see, to me, that's where Shadow of Mordor does it. Is in Assassin's Creed, you're really kind of encouraged to not fight. But
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor, it's like, hey,
Kill the later ones,
Oh my god.
well, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
Like
the
the
later
origi-
ones aren't as good.
like the
though,
original
right?
Assassin's Creed. Like you did not want to get into a protracted fight. Like you
Exactly.
were like,
And so that's what
there
I'm
are like
saying, though.
30 knights around me. I need to leave.
And so in Fallen Order, what they can do is they can make it to where you're trying to sneak around, but there's a point where you're like, okay, well now I have to fight at this point. And so then you have like a really good combat system. You fight them off, and then you just kind of have to
Massacre
act like
30
nothing happened.
Massacre a few hundred stormtroopers.
So, anyways, yeah. So that's
Normal Jedi.
Fallen
stuff.
Order. It's gonna be good. I think I've got high hopes. I think it'll be good. I know that it's got a very high chance of not being good, but
Who knows?
I hope.
I'm sure there was a time when EA made good games. Maybe
I mean,
maybe-
Tyler the Tasmanian Tiger was a good game.
but yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing gameplay at E3, assuming that they're going to have that.
Hey, so-
I'm also looking forward to seeing what DLC
Mm.
we have next for Smash at E3. But
I'm-
before we do that,
I just got some gaming news.
what?
Okay, so Ubisoft actually donated 500,000 euros to help restore Notre Dame, and they're also giving, and this is something that I think is funny because we were just talking about this, but they're giving away Assassin's Creed Unity for free
I
on
don't-
PC.
I don't want that. Keep that away from
So,
me.
Yeah,
That game was bad.
thank you to
That
my
game was
assistant in
bad.
the side, but
That game was awful. Don't play it.
I'll get it since it's free.
I'm not getting it.
That's about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know.
Sucks.
But I think I'll get it because it's free and that's about it. So, because hey, there's nothing wrong with a free game.
The next Assassin's Creed will be in France.
No, it's
Modern
Vikings.
age.
That's where
Vikings.
Assassin's Creed Unity took place.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
French
that's-
Re-
that's
that
why
sounds
they did
it's
it.
Bad.
In the French
That's-
Revolution.
that's why
it
they
was
did it.
awful.
Sounds
But anyway,
It wasn't even
so-
about the revolution.
Are
It
we
was about-
going into the next thing?
as soon as I'm done ranting,
Okay.
it was about the French Revolution instead of talking about the morals of the French Revolution and all the artistic and cool revolutionary ideas that were cropping up at the time. You know what we got to do? We got to chase around his girlfriend that was a Templar that for some reason wasn't evil, because even though Templars have been trying
Evil.
to control the world and indoctrinate mankind for enslave mankind for like every other game before that. But you know what? She's cute. It's cool. Templars are cool.
I feel really uncomfortable whenever you start talking about Assassin's Creed.
I do too.
There's like-
Really,
there's like a weight
he just starts
coming
going
down on
on
top
it,
of
and
me,
I'm
and
just
I'm
like,
It's because I'm releasing my bad chakra.
It's a
Oh
menacing-
my lord.
Okay, let's talk about something good for a change.
Something excellent that
Let's talk
I'm
about-
a huge fan of. I'm excited for it.
Smash. So Smash recently released the new DLC that you might have talked about it. They, without any warning, you could say that we never saw it coming.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Joker
From Persona 5.
from Persona 5
That's
is the
right.
newest addition to the Smash roster. You can get him for $5.99, along with his stage and about 11 tracks,
11 tracks of music.
which are all fantastic. Love them all.
Mhm.
They're all great.
And
They're all really good.
It's great. So he's the newest character, and in the of five that are going to be joining the roster as DLC, a part of the Smash Fighters Pass. Logan, why don't you tell us how you like Joker?
Well, he feels like he's borderline broken. He's basically like he's got like a little bit of a disjoint because he's got a knife. He's got some good range weapons because he's got a gun. He's like the first character in Smash to just have like a Desert Eagle.
Bayonetta. Hmm.
Bayonetta has like
Foot.
fantasy
She's got fancy foot guns.
shoe
She had
guns,
magic guns,
magic guns. He's just got a gun
Glock.
that he uses.
like an actual
Yeah.
not a revolver, but a pistol. Pistola.
If I had to compare it, like as far as movement goes, like I'd compare him to Sheik.
Sheik.
Yeah.
Feels like he's the kind of character who you dodge around and you try to rack up combos, but he's kind of light. Can't take too many
He is
hits.
very light.
You got,
He has a pseudo wave dash too.
are
Really?
you serious?
Yeah, people are showing that him pressing B in midair and then dodging the side, he can basically wave dash.
I gotta learn how to wave dash now. That's cool.
Yeah, there's
But-
a ton of videos about it.
He's got a bunch of he's got a lot of tricks, especially with his specials. Like while you're using the gun, it's possible to just dodge around in different directions,
You
and
can
it's
jump
it's
up in
possible
the
to jump up into the air. So basically, like an air dodge while you're using the gun. For some reason, a lot of people don't see that coming, but I'm sure everyone will get wise to that. You can shoot while you're falling. You can shoot in all directions while you're in the air.
And you can also
Uh,
shoot straight down, which
can
is
shoot-
actually very useful.
That's good for gimping.
Yeah.
Off stage. His recovery is kind of it's not horrible, but it's
It's
not
okay.
the best.
yeah, it's
But that is only like his base game.
when he doesn't have his persona.
That's not even his final form, as
After
the
you
trailer says.
Deck him in the schnoz a few times, he brings out his stando.
Or after he builds up his meter with his down special, which is it's probably one of the best counters in
It's
the game.
pretty
I
good.
feel
Yeah,
like.
it's
like-
pretty good. I
It
mean,
negates so much damage.
yeah, I think it's good just in general use. It feels like Ryu's focus punch.
Kind of,
yeah. I just like how it feels almost more fair than other counters. Like it really depends on the person getting a clean read, and you can hold it down. So
Hmm
even if you like,
And it doesn't feel degenerate, like, because it
Yeah.
has ending frames, and he doesn't. It's not like when he pulls out his persona, he becomes like actually this ridiculously. He becomes really good. I don't feel like he's broken when he pulls out
No,
Arsene.
He's pretty good.
He
He's
gets-
good, but I don't.
He's pretty
I,
good.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I don't think he's broke.
I'm like-
I'm
I
not
feel
saying he's broke either, but he's pretty good.
I feel like if I'm like at 80, I'm like, oh, he could hurt me really. He could kill me
He
in
can
like
kill
3
me pretty
hits.
quick,
But
yeah.
like I'm at 80%, so
yeah, it feels like I kind of wish Sheik had a similar thing or some way to kill people as quickly as Joker.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if he didn't have the persona, I would be like, wow, this character's fun, but same deal as Sheik, can't kill very quickly.
Yeah.
But
Honestly, just give Sheik a persona and then she's fine.
trying to imagine what Sheik's persona would be.
What's Makoto's?
Zelda.
Oh no, wait. What's Makoto's?
Oh,
Persona.
I never got that far in the game. I don't know what Queen's persona is.
Well, I mean, she looks like a ninja, so I mean, you could make that.
Ooh,
Whoever
that's- I don't
Makoto's
know.
is, you could probably make as.
it would be Naru.
Sheik's
That would be her persona.
Naru.
Naru. Yeah.
Oh
'cause
yeah.
Triforce of Wisdom, and that's what Naru symbolizes.
Oh yeah. Okay, you're talking Zelda. I thought that was like a persona, and I was like, huh?
No.
Yeah, but Nehru. Yeah, Nehru. Because it's like
See, Din, Naru. What's the other one? Elden.
Furore.
Furora.
Furore.
Yeah, Furora.
So. Yeah, that'd be
Hey.
cool.
Yeah.
Neat.
He's pretty cool. He's fun. I like to play him. His stage Mementos, fantastic music.
It's a really good stage.
Persona 5, it changes music based on which music you're doing. Like if
It
it's,
changes looks.
if it's from
aesthetic.
Persona 3 or Persona 2, it'll change like the whole color and stuff and a few aesthetics.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
I love that it does that.
He's overall, I think I would agree. The character is fast. He's fun. I don't think he's a bad character. He's
I
gonna
think
be
he's probably in high tier.
he's gonna be high tier. I don't think
Yeah.
he's S tier because we yet unless I see some crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
I need to
done
see
with him.
some crazy things happening.
But,
Otherwise, he's going to stay in high tier for me as well.
I think at this point, like from what I've seen, I think he's going. I don't think he's going to go down in the meta. I think he is probably going to go up.
Yeah, I don't picture him going down.
Yeah.
I will say.
I think
I don't know.
right now, something I noticed when I was playing with him on spirit modes, especially, is it's hard. Some of his options don't work as well on shorter characters, but everyone's kind of got that. Like his his forward tilt just does not work on Pichu or Pikachu.
See, I've seen the opposite. I've seen him destroy Pichus online so far.
There's like if they're
But I'm also
if they're standing
that's
like
online.
right where
so,
if they're standing right where the knife comes out,
yeah,
then they'll get hit. But if they're standing like like any
2
closer,
feet, like 2 inches away.
any closer, and they're just like right underneath your downward thrust, so
Mhm.
it's
Well, if you guys are interested in that DLC, you should definitely go and get that right now. It also came it also came with update 3.0, which changed a few things. Generally, range attacks are less effective on shields, but
Yeah,
that's all
and
meta
a
stuff
few
that we don't need to
specific-
talk about because that's I feel like for a general audience, people
Yeah,
are gonna
this
say.
is for general.
But like
Stage builder.
yeah,
That's
I
for
was
you
gonna say,
guys.
the
Stage
3.0 Stage Builder came out, so there's a lot of cool stages that people are already coming that people are already coming out with. Let's see, I think people have already recreated the desk from the old 64 intro.
Yeah,
yeah.
people have done
So-
that, and they've also
that's actually really
recreated. They've recreated some of the stages from 64. So like
Mm.
Crystal Cavern, since it's
can't-
not in the game.
I actually have to get Crystal Cavern.
I do too.
I do too. I love that stage.
I wonder if like it would have been cool if they put in some kind of music maker where you could like make your own tunes for different levels.
Yeah,
But like,
They also put in video editor in there.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
versus
yeah.
Metal
They put
Mario
in
is
Adobe
technically in
Premiere.
it. Yeah, hold on. Versus Metal Mario from the original Smash Bros was Crystal Cavern's music.
Yeah,
So
Okay.
you can just put that as the music for Crystal Cavern and be
Yeah.
fine.
I loved it. Like I loved playing there in Project M. It was
Yeah,
fun.
that
My
was
favorite
fun.
thing.
Yeah. I love Project M. It was good.
but yeah, they also put the video editor, which is just Adobe Premiere. So that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Cool.
It'll be interesting to see. And with that, they also added the ability to share content, which includes your Mii's, stages, and any videos you have.
Which I like that. I think that's
And
really
it-
cool.
And the
And you can look at them on the Nintendo Switch app on
Yeah,
your phone, which has more functionality than just voice chat now.
it's actually
Yeah.
really, really useful. You can look at character-specific videos, and you can pre-download stages just
And
from your
pictures.
phone. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've already started looking at stuff on my phone because for the first time, I've actually opened the Nintendo Switch app
Me
on my
too.
phone, and I actually have started looking at stuff on it.
I still haven't
So
downloaded
it's
it.
neat.
I haven't really messed around with Stage Builder yet.
Yeah.
I
You
haven't
can-
either.
You can also queue downloads from the Nintendo Switch app.
Yeah, you can
No,
queue
that's
So-
them.
cool.
For like queue stage downloads
So it'll just download straight to your Switch as
when
long
you
as
turn
it's
it on.
connected
Yep.
Remember when people used to play like NES and
online.
stuff? No, just like Nintendo Entertainment System, and we're like, I can download levels for my Smash Bros. Game on my cellular phone.
That's true. That's
It's
pretty crazy how
crazy.
far we've come.
It's nuts.
That's true.
Jokers and Smash.
And yet we still can't play neutral.
Oh no! Unless
Got
you're,
him.
unless
Got
you're-
him.
unless you're a Jigglypuff man, then you play too much neutral.
Yeah, that's
Oof,
true.
That's too much. I don't want it. We gotta time you.
Have you seen
you're in the
Hungry
air too
Box's,
long.
Those
round
footsies
robins
are
with
no
the MVG?
good.
Have y'all seen that?
No.
What?
Hungry Box has been fighting with the MVG crew on the round robin stuff they've been playing on. So it's been interesting. He's been playing Kirby.
Oh,
and
I
stuff.
thought you mean like he's like arguing with them.
No, he's been fighting with them like
That's cool.
in Smash.
You know what I love?
So
Whenever there's like two characters and you have a bad matchup in Smash, like in any other Smash game, we just say, wow, that was a bad matchup. But in Melee, we got to make up arbitrary rules against.
That's what happens when the
specific
community's
character.
just been so old.
Gosh.
Wait,
It's unfortunate.
they made up rules for Jigglypuff?
They're trying to.
Wobbling is outlawed by
Are
the
you
king.
serious?
The king says no
Wait,
wobbling.
Wait, what?
No
That's a thing that's
happiness.
happening?
Wobbling has been outlawed by the decree.
All the holidays are cancelled in the kingdom.
Of Smash.
No
Melee.
happiness or joy is allowed.
I can't believe
there's-
that's a
they're,
thing
They're
happening.
debating on not allowing the amount of time that Jigglypuff can be in the air, which is dumb.
Putting like a timer specifically for Jigglypuff to keep her from being in the air too
Okay,
long.
well then put a timer on how many times Fox can use any of the
Shine.
following moves.
Anything.
Shine, laser, up smash. He can't use any of those
It's dumb.
moves.
It's because
He
people
can use
don't
them
know
3 times,
The
and that's
matchup,
it.
and they suck.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
all
so-
because it's all stemmed
They're
from this
impatient.
match where this guy was playing Ice Climbers against Jigglypuff, and he couldn't approach Jigglypuff because it's a bad matchup, and he sucks at the matchup. Yeah, it was boring to watch, but maybe he should be better at the game instead of complaining about it like it's Puff's problem.
Or
it's
pick a
his
better
problem.
character.
He sucks at the game. Joker's in Smash.
Woo!
Fun.
Like, I feel like at the very least, you should just go out like a champ, you know, and just play through the bad matchup. But he's like, no, he just
Yeah,
quit.
He just
walked
quit.
off screen.
Exactly.
What a coward!
That's his fault. Like
Yeah,
you should have
coward.
just
That's just-
played.
Rampant, like bad sportsmanship is just rampant in the Melee community.
The
That's
Puff guy,
why so many
Puff guy was
people have
there. He
left
just he finished
Melee.
the set.
So many people have left Melee, like because of that. I feel like, and yet they defend the Melee community, which I don't understand.
There are
They can
good part-
defend the original community.
There are
but
good
the
parts-
community now is bad.
There's still good parts of the Melee community, but by and large, it's
It's pretty bad.
there's a sense of rot in
So,
it.
I like
It's
the
pretty
Melee
toxic.
adventure mode,
Setting myself up to lose.
and that's
there.
about it. I like unlocking characters in Melee. That was pretty fun too.
Yeah.
Like, you really got to work for it in that game. And it was a bit harder in Smash Bros. Ultimate too, which I appreciated also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joker's in Smash.
Yeah.
Joker's in Smash.
Sora's next.
And you know what game
Maybe, I don't-
Joker? You know what game Joker's from?
No,
Isn't
what?
he from
Persona 5.
Wow, I
I thought
like
he was
that
from
game.
Shin
That
Megami
game
Tensei.
Is going to be featuring in our dogfight today. Persona 5 versus Xenoblade 1. It's gonna
Xenoblade
be
Chronicles. one.
Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Who cares? You lose.
So I have before we get down to it or go to a break or whatever, I actually have a real question. Like, did they just ignore Xenoblade Chronicles X?
Did I?
No, the people who made Xenoblade.
the
it's
one
like,
with the mech.
Oh no, they love Xenoblade Chronicles.
no, I
X.
mean
You
like it's
kidding me?
like there's the first one and then there's X and then there's the second one. And it's like there's no.
It's on a different planet.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
yeah,
it's
they're
like-
all
got like-
disconnected.
It's got like
There's
a Final
not-
Fantasy discontinued.
Yeah, I was about to say
Well,
it's similar to that.
They're just on.
Shulk comes into 2 though.
well, that's
They're just on different
That's-
robots. Is the
it's
what
a
are they
different
called?
thing. They basically like go to an alternate universe type thing, if I remember correctly from what I read.
That's dumb.
But I mean, I think Shulk and Fiora are blades, which is really cool. That means
Shulk's a
that
blade?
Yeah, Shulk's a blade, if I remember right. Let me
I don't know
double
what that
check
means.
this because now I have to know. We can roll the
Yeah.
ad and I'll say
Anyways,
it after.
Doghouse. You're gonna stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. We're
Don't
about to go
do
into
it.
our Doug fight.
No.
Persona 5 versus Xenoblade Chronicles. Who will win?
I
Who
will
will
win.
fall?
I shall do it.
If you want to find out, don't
Touch the dial.
touch that dial.
Colors weave into a spiral of flame. Distant sparks call to a past still unnamed. Bear this torch against the cold of the night. Search your soul and reawaken the undying light. On that day when the sky fell away, our world came to an end. In our eyes, did a fading sunrise in the dark, glimmering shadows. Silence grows in the spaces between, stretching up beyond time. Rising up as a chorus of souls find a voice, flickering through the void. These little sparks cling on to life, everyone caught in the struggle. And then the storms of change, they found the place, gathering ashes to the well. Every soul contains a whisper of life, time will not break. Colors weave into a fire of flame. Distant sparks come to a pestilent name. Bear this torch against the cold of the night. Touch your soul and be awake in the undying light. As fate spins the thread without end, new life draws its first breath. Blossoming in a soil reclaimed from the past, where destiny holds fast. Here where we stand, hand clenched in hand, everyone caught in the struggle. This is the day we finally find our way, stepping into our tomorrow. Every song contains a whisper of light, growing louder as it calls to ignite. From the distance sings a chorus of souls, rising slowly, stirring heat from the coals. Colors weave into a fire of flame. Distant sparks come to a pestilent name. Bear this torch against the cold of the night. Light will guide you on your way to the ultimate night. Every song contains a whisper of light, growing louder as it calls to ignite. From the distance sings the chorus of souls, rising slowly, stirring heat from the coals. Colors weave into a fire of flame. Distant sparks come to a pestilent name. Bear this torch against the cold of the night. Light will guide you on your way to the ultimate night.
No Matthew West.
Hey, I love Matthew West. Ain't no shame.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Doghouse with your hosts Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
Hey, what's up? We're about to go into our dogfight. I always seem to finish last on the barking. I need to pay more attention, I guess.
That's right. It's a time thing.
So today's dogfight, this week's dogfight, will be featuring Persona 5 versus Xenoblade Chronicles.
The original.
The original.
Just
first
to
one.
specify,
Number
because I know
one.
some people will be like, is it number 2? No, it's not.
No, it's not 2. We talk about good games on this show.
I think 2 is got some.
2's fine. It's just there's some issues that I personally don't like about it. Apparently, Torna, the Golden Country, fixed those issues.
Anyways,
I'm sorry. I was just
Yeah.
clarifying for the audience.
The fact that you can just put down the controller and win some of the fights is just, I'm not okay with
It's
that.
pretty crazy.
anyways, we're not here to talk about 2. We're here to talk about 1 and 5.
And not X.
Persona.
I
All
don't
right,
like X.
so I guess we'll just jump into our. If you guys don't know what Persona 5, let's just jump in and tell them a little bit about these games. So
Yeah, it's a good
they're both
idea.
RPGs, turn-based games.
No,
They're not turn-based.
mine's not turn-based.
His is
His not
turn-based.
turn-based. They're both JRPGs.
Right.
Yours is turn-based. His is not. They
Yeah.
both have
Mine's
very.
open world action.
They both have very unique styles of how they approach
Everything.
the world and how they engage the player, and it's going to be interesting. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys compare them, how you guys compare these two games. And
There's
which
a
one
lot
is gonna
to
win.
compare.
These
I'll
are
be
like-
honest with that.
Yeah, these are 2 almost. I would like to compare this a little bit to our last dogfight, where it's 2 very different directions JRPGs can go.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that's
would
a fair
agree.
point.
I think it's going to be interesting. I will say that I don't know if I have a bias. I will say that I don't know much about Xenoblade 1.
Yeah.
I will say that I really liked Persona 5 style, but I don't know about a
It
lot
doesn't have
about
a lot
Persona
of
5
style.
either. So I'm more of a I'm kind of a blank slate. So I'm willing
It's
I'm willing to
interesting.
listen to any argument you have to say from either case.
Looks like I'll
So-
just have to show you the Monato's power.
You lose. 5-1. I'm just,
I
no.
had to say it, dang it.
Feeling
So let's just jump into this. I want to give you here opening arguments. You guys want to rock paper scissors for it? All right. Opening rock paper scissors.
I always do
Nice.
scissors. That's my weakness.
All right, you get to pick. Going first or last?
I'll go second.
Okay, that means you have got the
Me?
opening argument.
Okay. Here's the thing you guys might not know about me. I'm not a fan of JRPGs. Look at that. That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of RPGs, their problems are, it's like they put a big emphasis on story and combat, but the two are always really divided. Like you got to wander around in a big open world, cutting down like countless enemies and leveling up your character so that you can progress in the story. But whenever you like get into the story, it's very clearly divided from the combat. And I don't appreciate that. It doesn't feel like a real world where my actions in combat affect the story. And Persona 5 is the opposite of that. The combat and the story are very like interconnected very clearly, where your actions in both affect each other. It feels like a real world that I can live in. Also, there's a time system which makes the whole thing also feel like a real world where I can't just, it's like, uh-oh, the main bad guy is going to destroy the planet, and I spend like 5 hours in real time like grinding out levels and stuff and then go to defeat the final boss. That just takes people out of the experience. Like in Persona 5, you got to carefully manage your time like you would in real life, and I appreciate that a lot. Also, I mean, I'm just going to say it, I think Persona 5, between the two of these games, has the better music. Could you agree with that?
I'm not gonna put that down in my notes, but
I mean, there's one good track.
Wow.
There's one good track from Xenoblade that I actually know the name of.
What is
That's,
it?
They Will Know Our Names.
You will know our names.
You
But
will know it?
yes.
Yeah. I
That's a good
mean,
one too.
every song in Persona is like iconic and
Dude,
amazing.
There's a lot of good music.
I've
in
never heard of
Xenoblade,
them
dude.
though. Even before I had played Persona, I knew the music and I could recognize it. like people on YouTube just randomly use the Persona style and music, even though it has nothing to do with what they're talking about, just because they love it that much.
I'm not
Anyway.
saying it's bad. But
Yeah, I'm
Xenoblade
getting off-
music is also good, man.
I'm getting off track. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I think Persona 5 has a better game design and better UI and just better style than Xenoblade, even though both games are good. And I will explain why, hopefully, during the rest of our arguments. That's my opening argument.
Cool. Very good opening argument. You had clear, concise points. I will ask you about them later. Steel yourself, young child,
Okay.
for the flames of my inquisition.
Literally become a ball of steel.
No one expects
now.
the Eli Inquisition.
The Husky Inquisition.
Wow, that actually sounds freaky. I'm scared. Awesome.
It's just
All right, your turn. Give me your opening argument.
Cool. I'm gonna start out with a little bit of information because you said you didn't know much about this game.
Oh boy, I do.
So-
I sure do love factoids.
I'm
Lay
a
it on me.
factoid boy.
Give me with that
Okay,
hot
Xenoblade
gamer
Chronicles
knowledge.
is an open world action role playing game. It was actually made by Monolith Soft. They made a lot of really good games. If you didn't know that, but it was published by Nintendo. It was originally for the Nintendo Wii. It came out in Japan in 2010, and then later on, it came out in North America in 2012 because of localization stuff. There's a lot of stuff to translate.
Yeah.
But unlike another game we're talking about, this game didn't get delayed 3 years. So that was good. Anyways, talking back about my game again, Xenoblade Chronicles is the very first entry in the Xenoblade series. Because, see, Xeno is a meta series. There's like Xenogears and Xenosaga. So this is the first in the Xenoblade games. They're not really connected. It's really just it's kind of like a name thing. It's like, oh, hey, it's the same genre. Like, it's the same thing. Okay,
So
cool.
like Final Fantasy.
Kind of, yeah. It's just instead of it being called like Final Fantasy or Xenogears again, it's just a different after point. But anyway, so Xenoblade, I like how he said what he said because I actually agree with him on something. And that is that JRPGs, most of the time, the combat and the story are very separate. However, just as he was explaining in his game, it actually does the same thing in mine. A great example is near the beginning of the game, one of your best friends, his name is Ryan. He's beautiful and I love him. It's always Ryan time. Anyway, so one of your friends is actually getting attacked, okay? And there's
Ryan?
a spider queen. Yeah, his name's Ryan.
Okay, sorry.
So there's a spider queen that's attacking him, and your character, his name is Shulk, and he's learning something about this Monado he's using, because at the beginning of the game, he's got no idea what this thing is. It's just a cool sword that he's been trying to research forever and can't get anything out of it. So in the cutscene, you see that you're getting this weird vision. It's like you're seeing what's about to happen to Ryan. And then because of that, something similar looks like it's about to happen, and then you change the future. So then from that point forward, in game, you get these visions in game during combat and such, and also during cutscenes as well, of things that are going to happen. And then you can choose to do things based off of what you saw to change the future. And so it's really cool how that kind of connects together, the combat and the cutscenes of the story. As far as the story itself goes, it's really interesting. It's a different way to do a story because basically kind of how it starts is in the beginning, there are these two titans that are locked in this eternal combat. And eventually one of the titans looks like he's basically won, and then they both just freeze. They just freeze.
I am going to ask you about lore later
Okay, cool. So
So-
do you want me to kind of stop there then?
if you want.
Okay, I'll talk about lore.
I'll
later.
let you talk. I'll let you talk as much as you want for your opening argument.
Okay.
So
Well, I'll talk about lore later since you're gonna.
I might
have
ask.
a lore
I might ask
segment.
specifics later. So go ahead.
Okay.
How you're gonna?
So those two titans are locked in this eternal combat, and then whenever one of them is seemingly defeated, they both freeze. Okay. So after this happens, life starts producing on both of them. And on one of these titans, it's these machine type people, this machine machina race. And then on the other side is the Homs, which is like a humanoid. They're basically humans. And so after this happens, the Mechon, which is the one side that's like mechanical and such, and the Homs have this big war, this big clash. And
Are
the Homs
Homs
seemingly
humans?
yes.
That's excellent.
So the Homs seemingly defeat the Mechon, and at the beginning of the story, you're kind of learning more about this event as Dunban, who is the hero of the humans, ended up kind of going through with the Monado and defeating the Mechon, because the Monado is the only thing that can really destroy a Mechon. It's similar to Kingdom Hearts in
I
a
was
way,
exactly what I was
because
saying.
Kingdom Key, only thing that can really destroy a Heartless in a way.
Yeah.
I'm drawn to those games. Anyways, so after Dunban gets done using the Monado for that war, he actually can't use that arm anymore that he used the Monado with, because it put a huge toll on him strength-wise. And so that's why Shulk has it in his lab. He's a really big geek. He's a huge nerd geek guy. And so he actually does the science and tech stuff for the army, the military there. And he also has the Monado there, and he's been studying it for a long time. And so at the beginning of this game, the Monado starts kind of acting up a little bit. And Shulk's like, that's weird. The Monado's never done this before. He actually, it almost cuts through one of his other best friends, Fiora, who's also his love interest at the beginning of the game. And I don't want to go any further than that. I'm going to be honest, because there's some stuff that happens right after this scene that is very integral to the plot. And so I don't want to go further, mainly because like I want you to experience the game for yourself more than anything.
You actually should play Xenoblade if you get the chance.
Yeah, it's a really good game. It's an amazing game. It's also on the new.
To me.
It's also on the new Nintendo 3DS, by the way. Just as a heads up.
It's a
global.
I have a
pretty good port.
I have a question for you.
Okay, go right ahead.
Oh wait, before you do that, I have an objection that I probably should have made earlier.
Objection. Okay, sorry.
Persona 5 was not delayed 5 years. It was delayed.
No, I said 3.
No, not. It was delayed 1 year for
1 year.
localization.
Okay, I had heard it was 3. That's my mistake.
The localization is really good. I'll talk about that later.
Cool, but 1 year. Okay. What was that? Okay, cool. What was your question?
Question. This has less to do with game and something. Did you like the King Arthur legend? Was that something that you liked as a kid?
Like the Legend of
We got the sword Excalibur.
Yeah.
The
I
Land
love
of
that
Albion.
stuff.
You like that? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Just
Was that just about his psychology as a human being, and less about?
I'm
That's
very
fantastic.
confused and concerned about what that's supposed to mean, but okay, cool.
All right,
I'll just leave the opening argument with that.
It was a very good opening argument. I enjoyed it. Learning about the complex history of Xenoblade.
You're scaring me, man.
Okay.
King Arthur's really cool.
Something tells me that he's going to connect this with King Arthur, and because of that, I'm going to lose.
And Kingdom Hearts. But you're not going to lose because of it. It was just an interesting.
Okay, I was curious.
The idea of someone having a magical sword,
even if it
chosen
is
by the sword,
even if it is similar in that way, you really have to play the game because it's not like
I'm not giving you negative points for that.
No. But I'm just explaining this to you for plot stuff.
Okay,
I'm sleeping.
But the thing is, in the game, he is technically chosen by the Monado, but it's a lot bigger than that, and so it's really cool.
I need to ask questions. Can you?
I was just gonna.
Can you pull back?
Stuff.
Can I ask him questions?
No, you can't.
Can he tell me about his game?
No.
You lose.
Okay.
It's my turn.
All right.
Question
So
time.
I know you mentioned how combat and story are interconnected in your game. Both of you did. He mentioned it first. And since he went on about his story, and I know the entire lore of Xenoblade. Why don't you tell me about your world, your setting, your story?
Whoa.
I wrote 3 volumes from that that opening argument. Okay, so
and I want you to tell me how combat you can tell me about the story, about what happens, and I'd like to hear about how combat affects those things.
I'll just talk about the opening of the story.
Okay.
And then I'll get into how that affects combat. So in the beginning of the story, it opens with the main character he has no name. He's like Link. You get to give him his own name. I'm just gonna call him Joker, just for sake of this explanations. Phil Brooks. Phil Brooks is walking home from school one day. This kid is walking home from school one day, and the sun's gone down. It's really late, and he sees this guy like harassing a woman, and so he doesn't do much. He just kind of goes up and like this guy's clearly drunk, and he just like pushes him on the shoulder, and you see this guy fall over, and he's got like a bloodied face, and he's yelling at this kid and saying, "I'm gonna sue you," and then it just shows in a really quick like explanation, like this guy being sent to jail, and like being sentenced to community service and all this stuff. Like he was just trying to help someone, and all this horrible stuff happens to him because of the person he went up against. And so now you're in this new town for your community service, where everyone in the school finds out that you are like you went to juvie, and all the teachers hate you and all this stuff. And Joker's his character is he's in the beginning of the game, he's very nervous about causing trouble for himself, and he kind of doesn't help people at first. But then he meets one of the teachers at the school who is abusing students physically on the volleyball team. And so he gets trapped in this guy's psyche called a palace, which is like the physical manifestation of someone's mental state. And inside the palace, it's like a castle where all these like high school students are being tortured by this guy. Like inside the psyche, everything becomes a lot more literal and like visual of like actions of characters in the story. And so one of his friends is being beaten up by the physical manifestation of this guy inside the palace, and he decides to help him, and that unlocks his JoJo, his stand, which is Arson. And the design of Arson and the character of Arson come from this character's character. Like Arson is a stand of
Rebellion.
the stand of fiery rebellion that can be accessed by those who would burn the world to create their own justice. So it's kind of
That sounds like really crazy.
It's really dope though. Like everything's on fire and this giant JoJo shows up behind him and he gets a cool mask and stuff. It's awesome. But basically that's kind of the idea, is like there's the world where people make decisions and they have actions, and that that affects the psychic world, if that makes sense. So as you go through the game, you can build bonds or like grow yourself as a character by just doing different things. That's kind of like,
right.
That's how you level up, kind of just by going about your day and like interacting with characters and living.
It's kind of linked to psyche. So it's like improving your psyche helps you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Improving yourself as a person can improve yourself in the mental world. And when you beat stuff, like when you
it's like mind over matter.
Yeah.
Almost.
When you do stuff in the mental world and like affect characters by by working inside of their psyches, it also changes the real world because those characters act differently now,
right?
And that opens up new options. So the gameplay loop is very interconnected.
What happens when you beat the gym teacher's psyche?
You get a new confidant, like a member to your party, and someone who can help you.
What happened? I mean, like how does that affect him?
He so when someone's a bad person and they're hurting people, first of all, like for a story hook, like time is moving forward, and they're going to do something usually, or like make an action. So like in this case, the gym teacher is going to kick you out of school and you'll go back to jail, which is bad, in like 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks to go through his palace and try to find like the heart of his desires, which is like the source of people's mental problems, basically, or like the source of the conflict that they're creating. In this case, it's this guy's pride and like his fear of growing old and not being, as important as he thought he used to be. So when you kind of remove that from the equation, like you get rid of, you fight a giant monster and you beat it, he admits to all of his like crimes and turns himself into the police to try to atone for his actions and become a better person. And that affects the school. Like certain people kind of know that you had something to do with it, so they become your confidants or your friends, and you can go on through their stories, which open up new palaces and ways to help them. It's the whole thing is very interconnected.
You're like an aggressive psychologist.
Very aggressive. You're Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil in the mind.
That's pretty cool. How, in your instance, does your he kind of outlined how his combat and story are kind of very interconnected, and I like that. So how and I know you said the same thing happened in your game. So how does Xenoblade kind of weave the combat and story into affecting each other? Like I know like you beat somebody and story things happen, but how does well, I'll let you take it. How does Xenoblade handle combat in the story? Or you just tell me about combat.
I was about to say, I kind of already explained that one. You may have forgotten, but I was talking about the visions and such.
Right. So
and how that affects.
How do the visions exactly happen?
Well, they basically just happen whenever the person you're fighting, or in cutscenes in those cases, whenever something big is about to happen, usually.
Right.
This is a spoiler kind of, but I'm just going to go ahead and give this to you. It happens in the first like 5 hours of the game. So at the beginning of the game, Fiora dies. The love interest of Shulk anyway. And so something that happens right before she dies, if I'm remembering correctly, is he actually gains a vision seeing that that's about to happen. And so she does it anyways. He tries stopping her, like saying something, because he thinks he saw something, like he should have known this had happened or whatever. And then the explanation I gave you for whenever Ryan and the Spider Queen, whenever they're about to have that big fight, a little bit later in the story, Shulk realizes, oh, this is actually a vision of the future. I can change the future. He starts talking to Ryan about it. And then whenever they go forward from there, whenever they have another party member or just someone else they're trying to help, they explain, hey, the reason that Shulk did these crazy things, the Monado is strengthening him. So the Monado, in cutscenes and battle alike, not only does it give you visions, but also at first in the cutscene and then later on in also gameplay, you'll see the Monado giving people strength or strengthening certain attributes. Can I
kind of cut in and just kind of make a comparison real quick? It sounds like the Monado arts, like they affect things in the story, but you can also do them like when you're fighting.
Yes.
So it's kind of like in Golden Sun, where it's like you can use spells out of combat and you can use them in combat. So it's just something you're able to do as a character, and it feels really like it connects.
Whenever
combat,
whenever you get in combat, does it like go into a separate cutscene, or like
when you get into combat,
or do you just encounter a monster?
It's seamless. It's a seamless thing.
So
which is pretty crazy for a Wii game, by the way, because usually it will always like go into a cutscene.
In like Smash, they use like the visions as like a counter, and that's a seamless thing. So like if a monster's about to do like
a really powerful attack, vision will happen.
Will it show up on the screen and show you what's about to happen?
It'll show you what happens. Cool. It'll say what the attack is called. It'll tell you if it kills a party member. It tells you how much damage it does in general. Right. And then also like what status ailments will be placed on your party. And so what you usually use to counteract that is a Monado art. So kind of like in Smash, there's the shield, there's speed, which that one's more of like a dodging type mechanic in game. And then you've also got some arts that are just absolutely destructive. And so like a great example is actually for the Spider Queen. Since I've been using that, I'm just going to keep using that one. Because like I said, I don't want to talk too much about the other things that happen.
Well, every game has a level where you can kind of get what the whole thing is about.
And so at one point when you're fighting that Spider Queen, her pincers are really strong. And Ryan, his weapon is like this cool little like shield / lance thing. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. But her pincers are sharp enough to like go through his weapon. And so Shulk somehow, with the Monado's help, actually kind of like shields Ryan. So that's the other cool thing. In Smash, you don't really see it as well. But in Xenoblade, you can actually give these different abilities to your party members. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's Arachno right there.
Whoa.
But anyway, so
gross.
So anyways, so he throws his shield to Ryan, and Ryan, because of that, it doesn't die. Because in the cutscene that shows for the vision, he dies. He's dead.
It's like
so
constant Final Destination.
Basically. Except you can actually fix it and solve it.
Right.
So it's really cool. Just to talk a little bit about the combat, because he said he is turn-based. And so that's, I don't want to say self-explanatory, but it's a similar style to other games because it's turn-based.
It's comparable, but there's some differences I'd like to go over a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to go ahead and continue, or you want to?
I do have another question for you, because I know you said it's seamless. And one thing, and I'm not saying that it's anything like this because it is another Xenoblade game, but one thing I didn't like about Xenoblade X and a lot of other similar kind of JRPGs is that the UI is really messy. There are numbers everywhere, gauges everywhere. I don't know how's the UI look in Xenoblade? How does that affect combat?
It looks really clean. I think that the UI, especially whenever it comes to abilities, are at the bottom. You have your HP and stuff kind of on the left. Also, like an experience bar under that. You do have the numbers kind of flying around. And what I mean by that is like damage being done or being healed. but that's like how it is in every JRPG.
Yeah.
And so
I played a little bit of Xenoblade, and I definitely liked how like a lot of the action JRPGs have like just stats flying around the screen, like just chaos constantly. But like
mm,
Xenoblade does a very good job of like focusing it. Like there
Yeah.
is a bit of chaos, but it's very contained.
It's
like
more-
you can tell it's like you can tell it takes numbers flying across the screen and kind of indicates the process of enemies taking damage and stuff.
Right.
I feel like something that also helps is the way that the combat is oriented. It's all real time. And so, like you said, you walk up to a monster and you can start auto attacking it. You get out your weapon and you auto attack originally.
Mm.
And then you can use your arts. And it kind of helps you think a little bit more too. But also, I don't want to say it's slower, but because it's more controlled, there's not all those numbers flying at you. It's everything. It's coming at you at a good enough pace to where you can manage it if you try hard enough.
Yeah, like you can look at the screen and be like, wow, that's not a whole lot of damage. I need to improve these things. Or like, wow, I'm not doing very well against this enemy because
need
of
to
these reasons.
Train up.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, I guess that really kind of explains that a lot. As far as arts and stuff go, you can actually gain them through these little books and upgrade them. So it's not going to be a level 1 art from the very beginning of the game is not going to be just as powerful as a level 9 art at the end of the game. The level 9 art is destructively like 10 million times stronger than the art was originally.
Right.
And so if there's an art that you just really enjoy, like a great example is oh goodness. Now it's missing my head. What's his up B? I'm trying to remember. now.
Oh,
X/slash.
X/, up slash,
Up slash.
Oops.
It's something like that.
That wasn't an A.
Anyways,
Shulk's
so,
attacks are pretty like if you look at it,
but
he's
like
doing
backslash,
He's doing an
backslash, and the up one.
Right.
They actually deal more damage depending on where you're facing the enemy. So if you're at his back and you use backslash, depending on like what level it is, it has a certain multiplier added to it. And whenever he does the up B move, and I cannot believe I can't remember what that's called, but when he uses that on the side, he actually has he not only does more what it may be air slash. I don't feel like it is.
I don't know.
But I can't remember, so I'll go with it. Anyways, so when he uses it on the side, he not only gets a damage multiplier, but he also has a better chance of inflicting the weakness, I believe, that is supposed to be.
It's a lot about
afflicted.
positioning.
There is a lot of positioning, and so it's really cool.
Are you sure you don't like
because-
Monster Hunter?
I'm positive. I promise,
Alright.
man. I've tried, okay, but because trust me, like I've played Monster Hunter, and we're already at this topic. I'm gonna go with it. I like Monster Hunter
Oh.
in certain ways.
I've never.
There's
played
certain
Monster
things
Hunter,
I'm
and I
okay
love it.
with,
Let's get back on topic.
but
okay.
Okay.
That's next week.
yeah, that is
Oh my
next
gosh.
week. I forgot
Okay.
about that.
All right. But
Can I talk about combat real quick?
you can talk
I'll
about
let him talk
combat.
about some
You can talk about
combat
UI
stuff.
too.
Okay, the menus and UI in Persona are fantastic. There's never like a switch from what's happening in the game and the menu. Like if someone's sitting in a chair and then you're talking to them and it opens into a menu, it's like they spin in the chair and become like a silhouette, and then the menu opens. Like every menu is like a work of art in different ways.
Mm.
It's also really easy to understand. Like combat. The Persona world is in Palaces, which is like a giant Legend of Zelda dungeon where you got to unlock puzzles and like go over the huge layout and stuff.
Mm.
Most of them are so big you don't want to beat them in like one run. You can find like safe rooms and then go back to the real world and spend a few days there and then go back to the dungeon. But the dungeons don't have a time limit like the real world does. The cool thing, like you said, Persona 5 is turn-based, so it kind of follows that layout. But it's probably the most bombastic like turn-based RPG I've ever seen. Like when there's 3 ways to attack. You got like melee attacks, ranged attacks, and magic. The melee attacks are like each character has like a different weapon. Like Joker has a knife, which you can level up and be really good. But then his friend Ryuji has like a baseball bat, so he's got better like for his base character has better like melee attacks. You know, different characters are suited for different things like that. The ranged attacks are guns. You just have a gun. He pulls out a Glock. Ryuji has a shotgun and has a machine gun.
And Morgana has a slingshot.
Morgana has a slingshot. I love Morgana so much. But the thing about the guns is like when you pull one out, you don't just like press the button to shoot. It's
Right.
like it shows like you decide to shoot, and then it will show you like an ammo meter on it. And like every time you press the B button, he'll pull the trigger and your ammo will go down. So it's like shooting. I don't think any other JRPG does that, or turn-based combat will have that kind of shooting, and it feels really satisfying. It's like be fighting a giant demon and just be like, no, just start blowing its face off. It's really cool.
Right.
The magic system is probably like one of my favorite magic systems from a turn-based game, and it's basically just Pokemon. Like there's 8 different types of persona that you can find, and each one does like a Pokemon element style, wheel of some are good against others and others aren't. The thing about persona that I like the most is whenever you go into combat, you can decide. Not only the goal isn't immediately to just kill every enemy on screen as quickly as possible. Sometimes you want to leave enemies alive, because if there's one enemy left, you can demand that they give you all of their money. Or if you say the right things, they might join your party and you'll get that persona to be on your team. Joker, since he's called Joker because he's a wild card, which means he can use any persona in the game that you find, and he has the ability to combine personas. So like by the end of the game, you have like this incredible like amalgamation of all these different personas that are like super incredible to use, and they have like all kinds of like resistances and stuff. Also, like when the difficulty picks up, the options you've taken like socially in the game kind of start to play out. Like if you have a love interest by that point, you get better like team attacks between the two of them, and at certain points, like your love interest might save you from a devastating attack or vice versa. So they feel like a real group of friends that like kind of like their social interconnections like come out in fights a lot.
Right.
So that's something I really like.
So could your team be compromised if you don't treat the people in the real world correctly?
Yeah. Not necessarily correctly, but just who you choose to spend time with. That kind of like who you choose to have on your party should also probably be who you like choose to hang out in the real world. And that's kind of how it works anyway. Like if you don't interact with a character, they're probably not going to join your party at any time, because you won't go through their story and they won't unlock their personas. Something else I like about the combat is just like, again, the UI is so clean. Like there's never the whole thing. Like there's a lot going on, between like there's 8 different types of like magic in the game, like different elements, but it always feels like I know like what the enemy can do and what I can do, so I can make options clearly, choices clearly in fights. It's Persona.
Cool. It's pretty good.
You want me to go into more of the combat stuff? Because I didn't go specifics into characters like you had. So
Sure.
I'd like to do that. So I want to go ahead and talk about the party members you get in this game. You have Shulk, you have Fiora at the beginning. You also have Ryan Dunban, yes, the hero guy that I talked with you about, who uses the Monado at the beginning of the game for the little intro cutscene. His right arm is paralyzed, like he can't use it, so he just fights with his left arm, which is pretty epic. I love Dunban. And then Sharla, she has a sniper, so she's pretty fun. She's also your healer, like your main healer person in the game. You also have Melia. Melia's your elementalist, so she's got like all the elemental things. So whenever someone's weak against a certain element, she's really good to have on your party. And then also Ricky. Ricky's like, he's really a wild card.
I like Ricky.
Yeah, I love him. Not only because one of his armor sets literally puts him, and he looks like one of those spiky balls from one of those like claw machines, you know what I'm talking about, like the bouncy ones. His armor makes him look like that sometimes, which is adorable. But also, like, his moves are all weird. So, like, some of his moves just poison. I guess he's really just kind of a debuffer, now that I think about it. Some of his moves poison, some of them incinerate, some of them bleed. He's got some things with positioning, kind of like Shulk and Dunban do. Ryan is kind of more of your tank. So he's either going to have a lot of defense or a lot of HP by the end of the game. And also he will, oh my gosh, he just eats things. Like there's ultimate attacks that'll happen at the end of the game that target Ryan, but because Ryan is so bulky, especially if you train him right,
So, yeah,
he can get dealt like 10 damage.
so it sounds like you have like tanks, debuffers.
Everybody has a
clerics.
class.
Yeah, you have all these kinds of class. So it's kind of, and this isn't a bad thing. This is kind of something that you're used to if you played a lot of RPGs.
Similar, yeah.
And like I said, not a bad. That's not a bad thing. A lot of times it's better to go with the.
They
with
pull
a
it in
familiar
kind of a unique twist.
Yeah,
Because like a sniper being a healer, like one of her things to heal everybody is she literally aims up into the sky, shoots a healing pod, and it rains down on your party.
they do archetypes in unique ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And I noticed that we're doing a lot of comparison between these two teams. Like, two games. Like, well, my combat does this, and my combat. What?
Well, that's the thing. Our games are similar.
Talk about style. Okay. He's mentioned a lot of his style. Let's talk about Xenoblade's style. Do you think Xenoblade's style and its aesthetics, music design, and all that stuff, I think it's better than Persona 5? Be honest.
Yes and no. I'll say yes.
How is it better?
It's better. I like the music better.
And
that's just a personal thing, I know. But
what does it do better than Persona 5, do you think?
I think instead of having a lot of jazz and because I've noticed Persona 5 has a lot of jazzy, upbeat stuff, and it's really just that music. There's not been a lot, at least from what I've heard in the game, it's not a lot. There's not really anything somber. There's not a lot of atmospheric things.
You're telling me Beneath the Mask isn't like a somber...
I don't feel like that's a jazz song.
Really?
It's a jazz song that I don't feel like is...
What?
It's not somber.
To
me, it's a song that's like, it's there whenever you go to bed.
This is all based on personal opinion.
It is, but that's what this whole thing is. It's based on personal opinion.
This is like actually...
That's what the dogfight's about, is personal opinion.
Hey, whatever. Just do your thing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anyways, so I think Xenoblade does a better job at fitting every atmosphere. Every situation has a musical accompaniment that really aids in how the player feels and also how the party feels.
And I know that Xenoblade, since it's more about traveling,
you
see a lot of different locales. So, like, does the music change between each locale? Mm-hmm. So, okay, so I think I understand what you're talking about.
Although it depends on what you're calling a locale too.
Desert,
because because technically in the game there's like miniature locations inside of a location. They're called landmarks, and a lot of times you can actually teleport to those separate landmarks as well.
Right.
So it kind of helps with traveling and stuff.
I was more talking about like general settings that have a few different settings that you can go to.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty good. So, also aesthetically, I know, I'm sorry. I just like blinked for a second. But also aesthetically, the menus and stuff do a pretty good job at explaining things. Like something you have to do with a lot of your armor and your weapons is you equip gems to them to give them extra stack buffs. So like a great example is an attack up 2 gem will give like 10% more attack to a weapon.
Right.
And so it'll be very basic. If you want a detailed explanation, you can make it into a detailed explanation, but you can also have it simplified to where it's just like, this is what the thing does.
Right.
There you go.
I feel like you're going on a lot of the minutia and a lot of the cool details that I would appreciate if I were playing the game. Well, in terms of when it comes to combat and all that stuff, like you guys are talking about two very different systems. I want to switch over to him, and then I'll ask you the same question. How does Persona does that? You mentioned how the combat works. How does that work better than you think than what Xenoblade does and like has an open world like action combat system? Like,
I think Xenoblade is action RPG, which even when you channel all the chaos that's going on, it can still be hard to like tell what's happening. And some of the options that you have aren't clear, like this button's my special attack. I don't even know what that means. But like in Persona, the menus like pop out and they tell you exactly what each option is and what it will do. So not only does it look nice, but it's very clear and to the point. That's the whole user interface for Persona. It's consistent across story options and combat.
I object. Xenoblade special moves also tell you exactly what you need to know.
I object.
And
Blooming
what those
Villain
moves
is not a
do.
jazz song. The thing about Persona music, somber, quiet moments will have like smooth jazz.
This isn't
with
about
hints of
music. This
electric
is about
tone.
combat.
You brought this up.
I'll let him
Excuse
go.
me.
Persona's music is like it has like two kind of like it's kind of like a shade of two different genres. Like smooth, like quieter moments will have like very jazz heavy music with bits of electric guitar and rock in the middle. But then like as you go through, you'll get songs like you start with like Beneath the Mask, and then you'll get to stuff like The Last Surprise, where it's jazz, but it's got some rock in it too. Like it's almost between the two. And then when the action really picks up, you'll get stuff like Blooming Villain, which is like, it's a rock song, but it's got a few bits of like, trumpet and jazz instruments thrown in there. It's a very, it kind of like puts you into the moment and makes you feel like, wow, stuff's
Yeah.
the
From what it sounds, it all has like an anchor and like in creative, but
yeah.
It'll yeah.
It's a
I
boss
understand.
when the jazz is gone. Oh my God, they took away my jazz. Everybody, it's about to be a T-pick.
Right.
Everyone's about to die.
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
All right.
Blooming Villain's on.
Well, you said that you had an objection. So
I already said it.
okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to elaborate?
Oh, well, I was just going to say that whenever you use special moves in Xenoblade, it has the icon, like I said, the menu of where your moves are and what they are. But under that, it'll give you a detailed explanation as to where you should be or how you should use it.
That's
And
still
so
like a
it's
lot
the
of
same thing.
information and reading you have to do while the fight is still going on, isn't it?
You only have to do it the first time you use a move. I sure hope you're not using a
How
move
many-
for the first
what
time
if
on
I-
a boss.
how
What
many
if I forget?
moves-
What
how
if I
many-
don't know what it does
how many
after I read it
moves?
once?
Okay, then you read it again. Is that a bad thing?
How
So
many
I could-
moves do you have to remember in Xenoblade?
It depends on how you build your party. Depending on, like, whenever you level up, for example, you'll get a move. You can
Right.
put it on there, or you can be like, I don't want that move, and you can take it off of your belt.
How many moves on average do you have to select from? And also,
Like, are you saying as
before
a
that
complete
question?
belt,
Do you control
or-
your party, or do they just kind of follow you around?
Well, you control one party member. The other party members, they do their own
Right,
thing.
okay.
You kind of choose what they do.
You don't choose what attack. Oh, you do choose what attack.
You can choose what they do. Yes,
Like you'll set the.
you
like,
can
presets.
customize. Yeah,
Okay.
you can customize that stuff.
Okay.
So
what,
it makes them actually really useful.
what do you think?
And also,
the,
they are very smart when it comes to certain situations. Because, like I was saying,
the AI is good.
the
We-
Ryan
We got
fight
7
thing.
minutes left.
Yeah. I want to
I'm trying not
ask
to talk
you.
too much. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just want to ask you real quick. What do you think that Xenoblade does that better than Persona 5 in combat? Because I'm trying to get to the nitty gritty. I'm trying to decide which is better. You guys are both saying, "Oh yeah, they're good. Mine does this. It's just that." Why is Xenoblade better than Persona 5? Tell me.
I think
In
Xenoblade is
combat.
better than Persona 5. For one thing, I know
Combat.
especially for you, turn-based games, you aren't a big fan of those. This isn't a turn-based game. Also, I like how smooth everything is. So you're auto-attacking, which gives you time to actually put forth a little bit of strategy, but you're still actually doing something to the monster or the boss.
Mm.
And also, if it's a weaker enemy and you're just kind of trying to gain some experience or maybe get a certain item for a side
Right.
quest, you can just auto-attack, and you
Right.
won't have to worry too much about using an art or something.
We're running up on it, so you can just go into your closing argument. You want?
Okay,
I want you to
I'll go and
highlight.
close.
I want you to highlight why Xenoblade is just overall better.
Closing
game.
argument, story, amazing.
vicious as
I
you
think
like.
the story is better than in Persona 5. I do. And again, I know that's not something I can really convey in this dogfight because, again, spoiler stuff. But I promise it's a better story.
What are the themes of it?
The themes are there's gods that control things that you don't want that to happen anymore.
Right.
You also have genocide, which is fun. And then you also have
Overarching facing great evil kind of stuff.
yeah, really.
Okay.
It's a similar thing. And so
King Arthur.
another thing is stop. Anyways, so also the combat, I feel like the combat's better in this game. Purely for the fact that it isn't turn-based.
Right.
Actually. Just because like there's not a game quite like this in terms of combat. And so I think it has a unique combat system that other games don't do, and it does it the best way it can be done. And so I guess my last thing I would say is that Xenoblade Chronicles has a sequel. And the sequel, even though it's a great game, still doesn't compare, as he's already said to you, doesn't compare to the original game.
Mm.
And so that tells you that the original game is obviously something special.
Is that your closing argument?
Because for time's sake, yeah, I don't want to make it too big.
All right. Well, you have. Go ahead and give your closing argument. Why is Persona 5 a better game than Xenoblade 5? Be as vicious as you
Xenoblade
like.
5.
Okay, so I think
Xenoblade
first of all,
1.
Persona 5, there's so much content on one run through, you can't really get through all of it unless you have New Game Plus on, which removes the time factor, so you could just do everything in one run. But there's over 100 hours of content. There's 5 different endings. Some of Xenoblade don't have multiple endings. There's so much personality and charm to each part of the game, and the whole thing feels like one consistent experience. Like even when you're just walking around choosing to do what you want in the story mode, like in the city of Tokyo, there's always something for me to do, and I always know what I want to do.
Right.
As opposed to Xenoblade, where there's a huge, like, vast open world that I can explore, but there's not much going on in it except for combat.
And side quests.
Combat.
And finding items.
Stop interrupting me. All those things just involve more fighting.
No.
Are we really okay?
Look, I'm supposed to argue my game. I'm gonna defend it.
Just closing arguments, Jesus. Okay. I think Persona 5 is better. It's got more charm. It looks better graphically. Combat's more fun. Everything about it is just fun to do and fun to be doing. I think I also just like I don't like the action JRPG genre. It feels like I can tell these people what to do, but I'm not really in control of what's happening. And I think there are more options of like how to approach combat probably in Persona 5. I think it's just it's the choice between like a big chaotic experience and a personally tailored, more narrow game that just has a lot more crammed into it as you go through it.
Right.
I think the themes of the story are a lot more relevant to like real life. The whole story is about finding these people and helping them out of situations where they're being taken advantage of by someone in power, like someone who's corrupt and is taking advantage of them. And that is very prevalent to like real life. Like the game was originally going to be about like world hopping, or about hopping around the world and doing stuff in different countries. But then like an earthquake happened, and so the director wanted to he wanted to do it just in Japan and kind of talk about how the country had changed over the course of this disaster. Okay, that's it.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Time crunches. Woo.
I think both of you made pretty good arguments. Both sound like pretty good games. It's hard to decide. I can tell definitely which one of you made the better arguments, in my opinion. Don't know which one would be the better game. I think today's winner is Persona 5.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
And sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
And nothing against it. If you guys are listening on YouTube, you'll be able to hear the full thing. But you've been listening to Doghouse with Husky, Dingo, and Updog. Be sure to go on YouTube right now and listen to my explanation. But boils down to Persona, I think, had better arguments made for it.
Looks like we got one guy going on YouTube right now.
Whoa!
But yeah.
It's YouTube Jim.
We'll catch you next week at 2 p.m. sharp, and tomorrow for Hair of the Dog at 11. You can listen to Doghouse.
Bye.
All right, so for the YouTube crowd. Okay, so let's just break this down.
Actually, can you hear us on YouTube? Can you check that real quick? Because it says it's connecting on the butt. I just want to make sure.
I don't know what the channel is.
Oh, you aren't subscribed to our channel?
It's Tower Media, one of the several channels.
I'll double check real quick.
Anyways, what boiled down to, it both sounds like good games. I feel like Bryant's arguments, you kind of got muddied down in the minutia of everything that was going on. And
okay, sorry. I was just making sure that we had audio.
yeah, you kind of got bogged down in the minutia of stuff. You're talking about the Arachnid Queen and like some really small stuff, and I was like, this isn't telling me what the game is about. I kind of want to get into overarching stuff, and I liked it. I think for the most part they were pretty even, and that's why I was trying to get you guys to say what was worse about either game, what was better than either game, and I think he kind of conveyed his points about style and the consistency of the game, and it was hard for me to visualize Xenoblade and what.
I mean, you'd said at the beginning I had an uphill battle. At that point, I kind of realized it was going to be rough.
No,
it's all good.
It was less of an uphill battle, because I said I was kind of a blank slate. It was close. I will say this is a very close one. You guys both did well, and it was very tight argument. I'd like to play both of these games.
I think they're both
Um,
just very different genres of JRPG.
And I didn't do a well enough job explaining, so that's all good.
I don't know how to say this. I like the open world aspect of Xeno. I really like the time system though, and just the way Persona you told me about it sounds really unique, and I just how you enter in a mental world and like you've got two different things that really affect each other. And
the fact that I couldn't talk about story really did me dirty.
Well, you did talk about story,
but I can't. I can't 100% talk about the story and what really happens because it's a spoiler.
He didn't tell me about story either, but I still understood what the game was about.
He can because he can talk about the first major points of the game, and that is like he goes to the end of the gym teacher.
That was a risk,
and so that
was a risk that you.
That's just something that
take.
Yeah.
You could have also asked me.
It's whatever. It's fine.
There's a lot of stuff I didn't cover that I probably should have too. Like when you're in Tokyo, like during the day, there's a lot of boring stuff you do in Persona 2, in my opinion, that you could have maybe brought up if you had seen some more stuff about Persona, you probably would have had better points you could bring up against me.
I kind of wanted to get into pacing about the game because I knew that was I knew that there was a thing about the Persona's pacing, and I kind of wanted to bring up what you thought about that and what he thought about that, but I didn't really have a chance. We're talking about the Arachno Queen.
I think maybe we should just for next week. I'm definitely going to limit you guys to like 5-minute answers.
I almost wanted to put it down to like a tie. Like,
can we do that?
Is that allowed?
No, that's not allowed. We have to have a winner.
Because like
there can only be one.
Yeah, exactly. Because it kind of ruins the point of.
What do you think, Sleepy?
I don't know. We're not keeping score, so I mean.
I know we aren't keeping score, but like we have to have a winner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you want me to weigh in on?
Yeah. Which one did you think won?
No, I don't want to. No, I think I thought we were talking more about if we should have a winner or tie. Is that what we were saying? Or
yeah, I want to hear what he thought though. What do you think, Sleepy Bassett?
About both the arguments?
Yeah. Maybe you should come closer so we can hear you in the mic or something.
Yeah. Come here. Join.
Come here, boy. Come here.
That was startlingly realistic.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy. Don't do that ever again, please.
Outside on campus all the time.
That's you?
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody, please welcome to the doghouse, the Sleepy Basset Hound, who you can barely see on the. Oh, there he is.
He's larger than life, so you can't see.
All right. Can I be heard well?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're good.
All right. The two arguments, I'll be honest, sometimes I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to like figure some things out about the games or looking on my phone and stuff. I guess I'll sit down.
So sit down.
Sit down in a Husky's chair.
Have a seat.
Do we have another headset? Maybe
that's fine.
No? Okay.
But
I was just gonna check.
Both are games that I want to play as well. I haven't touched either of them. And when the argument started, I was leaning more towards Xenoblade. And but throughout the argument, I think I enjoyed the general setting of Persona better, because Xenoblade may be unique in the whole you don't transition into battles and stuff like that, but there are other games that do it similar.
Yeah.
I do think the setting.
There's also games that do it similar with turn-based, but not in like a common setting where you get superpowers and guns as your thing. Like usually it's like medieval turn-based. So the thought of going into one's mind and playing out all that stuff,
and each
is very, very interesting to me.
Each palace like reflects the person you're going inside of too.
So it does a good job of
that.
Some of them are like one's a museum and one's like an Egyptian pyramid and stuff.
And then like
they get pretty crazy.
The gym teachers is like a dungeon.
Yeah,
like
he's got like a medieval castle,
literal castle,
which is like a cool. It's a cool like introduction to classic RPG players of like, yeah, you're in the castle, but
you have a gun.
I mean, you have a gun now.
It's not the same.
I will say. I like the point that he brought up. I think that when I'm thinking of Persona, I'm thinking of Xenoblade. There are some things that are interesting with how Xenoblade does it, but I'm just gonna go over here.
Yeah, that's fine.
There are some things that are interesting with what Xenoblade does, but I just had a sense of that Persona just offered something that was a little bit more unique in that in the way it approached combat and style. So I think and I don't know if that's true, but that just based off the arguments I've heard today. So Persona 5 is the winner today.
Yes.
I still had
But
something
you did
to
a good
add
job.
Oh, he was
why-
still talking.
I still had something to add with why I thought
I didn't
Persona
realize that.
1 is usually whenever you like think of games and are considering wanting to play them, you want to compare them to something that you already know.
Mhm.
And so Persona 5 being compared to other like turn-based style games, I played Final Fantasy Tactics a lot, which I know is not the same,
Yeah.
but it's still turn-based in a way.
I'd actually never
And I
played
knew the-
Tactics, so I've
Tactics,
heard it's pretty good.
It's really fun.
I've heard
Tactics
It's
is really
it's
good.
not. I will say it's not as good as 7 or
Yeah.
anything following, but it's still it's a strategy based like
I'm not as
placement
big a
game.
fan of 7.
It's not as big a risk as a Fire Emblems is
Yeah.
because no one truly dies; they just get taken out of the battle.
Oh, okay.
And if your character goes down, then that's when the battle ends.
Okay, so it's similar to like the newer Fire Emblem games in a way then.
Yeah.
Because
I
if your
guess-
main character dies, then you technically lose that fight.
Oh no, that's a thing that's always been part of Fire Emblem. But like when
Yeah.
your characters run out of counters for how long they've been dead, they don't die; they just retreat.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So
Okay.
you have that aspect, and whenever comparing Xenoblade to something, like I was sitting there and I was thinking of open world games, like open world that you can go straight flow into combat.
Yeah.
I thought of Dark Souls, just because that's a game series that I personally have put a lot of time into. And so like it's I know they're two different
Yes,
things.
that's a
That's a
oof.
uh
That's an
But-
interesting comparison.
yeah, it's-
but I mean
yeah.
I understand.
You,
though.
you
I get what you're
understand why?
saying
Because it's a free flow
yeah,
combat.
it's a
type
free
feel.
flowing open
Yeah,
world
yeah.
type
I
thing.
thought of Final Fantasy 14,
I haven't played that game.
just in terms of UI.
Oh,
That's
so the
similar.
like the MMO.
Mm.
Yeah,
Just in terms
it's
of
like
UI.
a simplified version of that. Yeah.
I was thinking, okay,
kinda
it's
is.
probably
That and
similar
I've
to
watched my current roommate Steve.
Mhm.
He plays Xenoblade 2 a lot. I was texting him in the middle. and I
Xenoblade
said-
2 is really good.
I was texting him and I said they're arguing Persona 5 and Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and he texted me back said why 1? 2 is obviously better.
But
I actually
see,
don't
I
like
can't.
2.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things about 2 that I think are better, but there's just certain things I'm not a big fan of. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
1 just had a bit more to me.
I feel like
I love the blades. I'll be honest. That's probably my biggest thing for 2 is blades are really cool. I love that idea.
I liked
But also it's like Pokemon, and that's something I should have
Oh,
brought
yeah.
up with Persona.
That's
Is that it's a lot like catching a Pokemon, because at first when you catch a Persona, and I know that's not the term, but when you catch a Persona, you don't know what to say, because I've seen people go through on playthroughs and try to get a certain Persona, but because they had no idea which option was the right option, they never got, like they got it after the 7th attempt, because they literally had to write down, okay, this was the wrong option, this is the right option, this is the wrong, this is the right. And so that's
Right.
probably something I should have mentioned in the
Yeah.
argument, but
I mean, there are some things in Persona that like aren't like they're really brief, so they're not like a big deal. But like your character is a student, so you go to school every day except on weekends. So it's kind of like yeah, like that's not
but I think
super
that
fun.
grounds it down to earth,
That does,
and that's why
that's
people
the,
can connect with it so
That's the
good.
thing. Like I
So well.
I love Xenoblade, but I like Persona's story more because like it's not like the whole at first. Like when the game starts out, the whole world isn't like at risk or anything. It's just
Yeah.
people that you know are being hurt, and if you don't stop them, you're gonna go to jail.
Yeah,
It's also
That's very relatable to me, especially.
it's also a sense of like
Oh,
genuine
gosh.
conversation between characters.
Have
I don't know if you
Setsuba?
guys have ever played the game. There's also an anime about it, the Danganronpa games. It's like a
I've heard
detective
of it.
style
I've heard
game
of it.
where there's like 14 kids and the person says the only
Oh,
way out is
yeah.
to kill someone and not get caught.
That
Mhm.
anime is actually okay.
Yeah, I watched the full thing. It was really good. Then I
That's
watched the
crazy.
gameplay. I also got like when thinking of Persona, I also thought of that with like interaction with people,
Mhm.
because everything you'll say will have an effect, and that's always an important thing to look at.
Yeah.
When with those certain types of games, character interaction is something that I think in Xenoblade 2 they did very well, because I watched my friend Steve.
They
Like
do that.
I haven't seen him play in a while because he moved his TV to his room, and he's probably going to have it back in the living room today.
Yeah.
But he is extremely high level and far in the story now, so I missed a big chunk of the game.
Oh yeah,
But it like I have those games where I just love to sit down and instead of play them, I watch someone I care about play them,
Yeah.
so I can get the full story without having to focus on the gameplay.
I think something that Xenoblade 1 does better than 2 is like I genuinely like Shulk as a character.
yeah. he's
I
like an
don't
interesting
like
one.
Rex. Rex is like he's such a
I think they just need to make him older.
he's such
I
a
really
he's such a
feel like-
main character anime trope.
Yeah,
So we can do it with the power of friendship. I'm Cockney.
The ageness, the aegis.
saw it.
I mean, yeah. And honestly, I feel like if I've completed one and I haven't completed two, and so I cannot 100% argue for a game that I've not completed. That's how I feel about it. And so I want to argue for a game that I've actually played
Yeah.
and beaten.
Also, like the fact that
And
you
so that's just me.
It would have been it would have actually been a pretty uphill battle if you had been arguing for two. Because I saw you playing a little bit of that. I'm like, this game looks like it sucks.
you can just put
It is fun. It is fun, and that's something I do have to stress. Xenoblade 2 is a fun game, and it's a good game. It's just, it's like I said, I haven't beaten it, and so I
Yeah.
don't want to argue a game I've not beaten.
Well, I'm
I think-
gonna make my last comment and then give Husky his chair back.
Yeah.
I'm probably about to
The
head
whole
out, so-
overall reason that I chose Persona 5 was just like the over, like it was basically down to pure interest.
Yeah.
Because I've
Yeah.
seen JRPGs where you flow straight into battle. I've seen other games where you do that a lot,
Mhm.
where it's just a lore storytelling thing where you go straight into battle. The way Persona did it with the whole going into people's psyches is what pulled me over for that argument. Is just because I haven't seen a game that does that specifically
Mhm.
with the whole finding out what makes people tick and trying to help them in
Yeah.
that sense. And I think
Have you ever heard of Psychonauts?
I
Psychonauts
have
is really
not.
good.
I was about to say it's a similar
Yeah.
idea where it's not a turn-based thing.
It's 3D platforming.
3D platforming, but instead of turn-based stuff, you actually just go into someone's mind and you kind of help them solve problems.
They're making a sequel.
Yeah, they are.
It's on Kickstarter.
Mm.
We'll support
I
them.
think what maybe
So,
would have
who made it?
helped
Tim
me
Burton?
decide for Xenoblade.
I think Tim Burton did the art
The
design.
art design.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
what maybe would have helped me design for Xenoblade if he was allowed to go more into story. Like if we did allow spoilers, I think that would have roped me in a bit more. To,
He
like,
could have spoiled, I guess, but like
Well, I just, in case someone does watch this and they just want a general.
well,
That was my fear.
I've never played the games. I don't really care about spoilers in like overall sense.
Mhm.
Storytelling is a big aspect of games, and I
That's
think
true.
Xenoblade would have won in my opinion.
I
if I
think
could have learned more.
the
About
difference is
story.
like Xenoblade has like a very big, like grand story that's like really good and
There's
rich
lots
and
of
stuff.
complicated things.
Yeah.
and
And then Persona's written more like an anime or a manga where there's arcs kind of, and there's very like self-contained episodic stories.
That's a really good way to explain
Yeah.
that. I agree.
The characters, but I didn't really have a chance. And I was kind of wanting to compare like the characters and how they grow.
I probably should have talked
Yeah.
about classes too in Persona because like
Mm.
there aren't specific classes. You
Do
can
you
just
get to go to
you can-
school?
yeah you can just.
class.
Oh no! You
my
cut me.
Arithmetic.
I've never even played
your
the game. You
headset
tricked
back.
me.
It's just like
I don't
Lovers of
belong
Aether.
here.
Lovers of Ether. I
Yeah.
haven't played that.
I haven't either, but I've heard it's good.
Right. So
Sleepy, do you want
This might
to
be-
take my headset?
this
I
might-
actually have to head out.
yeah, I'll talk with you Monday about the thing that we were going to talk about. That's
Okay.
fine. It's just yeah.
Well, if you need me to stay for a little bit longer,
That's
I can.
fine.
I'll take your
Go ahead.
headset. if
You sure?
Yeah.
I can.
It's fine.
You sure?
Go.
You sure?
Leave.
Get out.
You positive?
You're not allowed to have
Um,
this anymore.
Inclusion Persona 5-1, but it may be something that we revisit in the future. This might be a revisited fight. I thought about doing that next semester.
That would be if we take fights that won this semester and maybe take some of them and put them on. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
we
against
can
others.
take
A
one or two of
championship bracket.
them. I wouldn't want to take all of them, but I'd take a few.
Yeah, some of them, like some of the really good ones, like maybe Wind Waker against something. Another
Wind Waker
Legend of
against
Zelda game.
Persona 5. There you go.
I'd probably vote for Persona 5. That means.
I would.
No, you'd be arguing. Whoever argued the last one.
Oh God! Whoever argued
The
against their
the
game has to
argument
argue
winners.
for it now.
Oh, dude, I could argue for Persona 5. Let's do it. By all means.
Oh God!
That means you'd have to argue for Wind Waker because I argue.
Wind
for
Waker's
Waker.
lots of fun. You got a boat. He's red. He's a lion too.
He's a
Tingle's
lion.
there. I mean,
You're forgetting.
not in the Wii U version
That's
though.
right. Amen.
You could choose Tingle or no Tingle. It's up to
Me and
you.
Husky talked about it on the way here, but it has the greatest anime hero of all time,
Beetle.
Beetle.
Beetle. Beetle's
Was
amazing.
that his debut?
Beetle
Yeah.
is like the
Yeah,
One
I
Punch
love
Man
Beetle.
of the Zelda
That
universe.
is the one thing that I really appreciate that Wind Waker is introduced to the Zelda lore.
I love Beetle.
Beetle.
I was.
Beetle's amazing.
I
You can
didn't.
leave everything else.
He
there.
is so
I didn't.
strong.
I didn't know that Beetle was in Breath of the Wild, and when I saw that backpack, I was like, no.
You didn't
And then
know
I
that?
walked around and was like, yes, it's Beetle.
He has like an iconic face. It's like just as iconic as Link's.
Yeah.
now.
It's
Like,
the-
And
that's
his
Also
voice
an
and his
iconic
mannerisms
voice.
too.
true.
Oh!
You guys,
Oh!
you guys have been listening to the Doghouse.
Oh!
I'm gonna kill myself.
Oh!
You guys have been listening to the Doghouse. I thought we had a pretty good show today. Dogfight didn't get as nasty as I was hoping. I thought you guys were gonna rip each other in half, but whatever.
I don't
do
know.
that next
We
time.
really need to. We
Logan
really
pretty
just-
much did.
We need to set a time limit. I think
We need to have set questions too.
I'm definitely gonna have set questions and a time limit for you guys next week when the big finale finally arrives. The ultimate battle.
The final confrontation: Monster Hunter versus Kingdom Hearts. Is it franchise or is it game?
I think it's franchise.
Okay, franchise. That's
This is the final duel.
yeah, because we said you couldn't really talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 without talking about all the other ones.
It's very
because the story
based,
is
yeah.
retarded.
You can't say that
Wait,
on the
what
radio.
are you talking about? What
Whatever.
story?
On the YouTube. Actually,
It's
YouTube. What's
dumb.
the
What story?
It's not. Sorry,
I'll,
God.
I'll send you a video about it.
It's dumb. Anyways, Monster Hunter versus Kingdom Hearts. If you guys have been listening since last semester, we've been on this about which one is better. I hate Kingdom Hearts, and I will not hesitate to shove its head underwater and watch it slowly drown.
I am indifferent towards both games,
Especially
so I
because
will
it
be
can't
judging.
swim.
And I love
I-
Monster Hunter.
I'm actually. I
Brian is
love.
of the opposite opinion.
I love the idea that we can stop talking about this, and it'll finally be over.
Never gonna stop.
It's not going to be over ever.
Oh, and then we might do a special episode after that where we can compare the different Smashes.
Smash
Dogfight.
Bros. Melee, Smash Bros.
Brawl,
Brawl,
best one.
and Smash Bros. I'm representing Brawl and Smash Bros. 4. A 3-way confrontation. I think we'll do it by like a. Maybe we can like have categories like this Smash game does this thing best. This one does this best. Whoever gets the most points in those categories that we can agree on wins. I don't know how we would do a 3-way dogfight, but we'll figure it out.
I could be here. I just sit right there.
Mm.
Mm,
Well-
that's a good idea. We might have fourth person as a judge. Who knows? I don't know.
I'm arguing for
Bottom
Super
line,
Smash
be
Flash.
here next week for our show. It'll be
A fight to remember.
It'll be Doghouse every Friday, 2 p.m. I think that's going to be our finale show until next semester. But it'll
Yeah.
start at 2 p.m. It goes till 4 on the radio. Probably a little bit afterwards on the YouTube. Tomorrow we have the Hair of the Dog at 11. Be sure to tune in. Next week for the Doghouse, the dog fight you've all been waiting for: Monster Hunter versus Kingdom Hearts.
I can finally be free.
Tune in. It's going to be a slobber knocker. Unlike these guys, I'm not going to hold back.
You better not.
I didn't. I said some mean things near the end.
I had to hold back against Mario 64 because I was like, he might actually just respond back and rip me in half. Mario 64 is probably a better game.
That's what I
What was
thought.
argued against that one?
Crash Bandicoot.
I was Crash
Oh.
Bandicoot, and I won.
That's
Ow.
garbage. Bryant was the judge.
Oh, that's
No,
why.
I have
No.
charisma.
I think it came down to like arguments. Like you had more facts about the production of Crash Bandicoot.
I had more. Yeah, I actually did like some heavy research, and
I think like
I had some things that I was able to bring up against Mario 64. So
I had things I brought up about Crash Bandicoot too, but I think it all came down to just personal opinion, like
Yeah.
it usually does. This whole thing is
Yeah,
heavily biased.
it's all personal opinion. That's the point. But the problem is that you guys keep saying, "Oh, it's just personal opinion." Like, no, it's winning.
I think the idea of
The
this,
one who wins is better.
usually we do our best to have two people who have played each game and a judge who's either indifferent or has experience in both.
Mm.
But sometimes that can backfire if the judge like just has better memories of one game
Mm.
over the other.
No, he didn't play Crash. So
He did play Crash.
he told me he didn't.
He lied. He told me he did.
I think you're lying.
How
No.
dare you?
He's played both.
Anyways, Monster Hunter versus
Be there or be
Kingdom
square.
Hearts.
Turn the
Next
camera
week.
off. I'm done talking.
Sure to tune in. See you guys next week. You've been listening to the Doghouse.